Hello and welcome to the Fabulous Picture Show. I'm Amanda Palmer, and this week we're joined by Palestinian-American filmmaker Cherian Dabis for a screening of her hugely funny and warm new film, Amreeka. It's about a Palestinian mother and son who moved to America.
Your occupation?
Yes, it is occupied for 40 years.
And it's based on Shireen's own family.
The Secret Service came to my high school to investigate a rumor that my 17-year-old sister threatened to kill the president.
Also on the show, gearing up for the world's newest film festival, the team goes into overdrive. But first, director Quentin Tarantino doesn't just break the rules, he writes his own. And then he breaks those as well. And as our Lama Matta reports, his latest film is his breakiest yet.
He's responsible for some of the most iconic movie moments of the 90s and noughties. Taking on the conventions of familiar genres and then getting medieval on it. In Quentin Tarantino's latest, Inglourious Basterds, does to the typical war movie what Hitler did to Europe. People were expecting some kind of a period drama when they heard war movie, and you, didn't they? And you've just kind of, you've Tarantino-ized it or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, actually. I mean, the thing about it is, I didn't want it to have that almost glass bubble of a period movie, which is not so bad necessarily in theatrical films, but it's like all the 30 years of period World War II TV movies have really, you know, which everything's about the costumes and the cars and the sets. I didn't want it to have that kind of arm's distance quality that those movies have. I wanted it to have an immediacy that a current movie has.
You probably heard we ain't in the prisoner taking business. We in the killing Nazi business. And cousin, businesses are booming.
Led by Brad Pitt, a squad of Jewish GIs collects Nazi scalps. The film's most memorable Nazi
That's a bingo!
is chirpy Colonel Hans Lander.
Is that the way you say it? That's a bingo?
You just say bingo.
A role that won Austrian Christoph Waltz the Best Actor prize at Cannes. Is it the role of your career?
Yeah. Yes. Exclamation mark. Underlined. If a rat were to walk in here right now as I'm talking, would you greet it with a source of your delicious milk?
What did Tarantino give you?
He gave me the, you know, like a complex being, this, you know, multi-layered, multifaceted, you know, infinitely superior to any stereotypical thing that you usually do.
Diane Kruger plays a German film star working undercover for the Allies.
Andere Neuigkeit ist kolossal.
How much of the creation of von Hammersmark is you, and how much was kind of given by Tarantino?
I've seen a lot of German films about women that in that time. When I read for him, I gave a lot of that, and then he just took that and pushed it even in the more extreme way.
Pushing things in a more extreme way has always been Tarantino's style, beginning with his breakneck breakthroughs, Reservoir Dogs,
we got into this thing with the best intentions.
and Pulp Fiction.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Kill Bill was meant to be a single feature, but it was so jam-packed with action, it had to be split into two separate films.
Gross.
You love your pulp movies, and you're really influenced by those. You're not making pulp movies, you're making Tarantino movies. And and this is your eighth, and you're still redefining genres every time that you do something.
Well, no, that's a very astute reading of my work. The thing that gets me to sit down and start writing is the genre aspect or the subgenre aspect. I want to try my hand at this genre. But that's just the very starting point. From that point on, I want to expand it. I want to blow out the doors that, you know, that surround that genre or subgenre and do my own thing with it.
Tarantino's own thing includes his inspired use of pop songs.
Baby love, my baby love.
I can't talk to you and not talk to you about your music, because that, for me, is as much a voice in your films as the dialogue is, great as the dialogue is. But you have a very specific process to your music.
Yeah, what ends up happening to me is once I start figuring out that, okay, something will be the next thing I write, the first thing I do is I dive into, I have a record room in my house. It's set up just for vinyl. It's designed like a little used record store. And I dive into the music there, and what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the rhythm that this movie's gonna play. And then, then I start writing it, and I keep doing that. I keep finding music, and I keep also re-inspiring myself. Then when it comes to shooting, now I've got some stuff already, and now I keep looking for more, because the movie starts evolving and doing different things, and I keep coming up with more music for it. Then when it comes to editing, now I'm looking for the small stuff that I wouldn't have thought about earlier, that could use a little music. And then it starts getting it's more minute.
He does love his vinyl, but Tarantino, himself a trained actor,
Should be sitting down.
fixates at least as much on his cast.
He gives everyone their individual time that they need. Whether you're the extra that's in the background and you never really have a line, but they all feel elevated because to him, all of that is just as important. So it really lifts you up.
Très bien, très bien.
Now, what do these places have in common? Cannes, Berlin, Venice, and Doha. Well, here's a hint. It's something to do with film.
In the Gulf state of Qatar, plans are underway for an event unlike anything this tiny peninsula has ever seen.
Action.
Come late October, the booming capital will play host to the first Doha Tribeca Film Festival.
Need a drawing for the central courtyard.
I think it's essentially going to be festival, film program, and vlog.
What are the creative ways that we can come together?
Industry pros, including the Fabulous Picture Show's own Amanda Palmer, have flown in from around the world.
We want it to feel inclusive. We physically want people to be able to see some red carpet entrance.
Supported by a team from New York's renowned Tribeca Film Festival.
Can we do a drop-off here, though? Like, actually have, like town cars and limousines?
And they've got just a few months.
This is the entrance.
To set up an international event screening around 30 films.
Here it will be the ticketing.
Imagine what it could be like.
You have to use your imagination.
Exactly. Okay, this is a problem.
This is terrifying. This is not.
I'm glad you're doing this side of, like, I do the other side.
Right, that's all right. This just means that we can't really show 30 films if we don't actually have enough theaters to show them. Mr. Ali, there's a lot of work to be done still left.
That will be ready.
You think?
Yeah, sure, 100%.
But this festival's not just about those who've already made it.
So it's really just, getting the word out to as many people as possible and in as many different ways as possible.
Workshops and community programs have begun, giving Qataris, the majority of whom are under 30, a chance to learn about filmmaking.
Emir wants to be a filmmaker, so we figured let's just throw him into making the documentary today.
I don't want any faces. I want them from the backside.
It's his first time making a movie, but he's gonna be fine. He's very talented, this guy. He knows what he wants.
I was acting like a professional, to tell the cameraman where you have to be and these things. It was actually fun.
It was a very good day today. They were really into it, and a lot of good stories came out.
You ready, guys?
We have an action on the film. Everybody really helpful. We have got fantastic team here.
Their films will provide insight into a little-known culture.
Gulf people, they're very modern, and not a lot of the world knows this. My idea was to show how strong their culture is, but at the same time show how modern their lifestyle is.
But with just weeks to go until the red carpet is rolled out, the pressure is on.
We can't fail. Right? In part 2, we're joined by first-time feature director Cherian Dabis, and we'll be showing her film Amreeka, which means
America.
in Arabic. And this is a wonderful immigrant story, something that's very personal to you.
It is. I grew up in a really small town in Ohio, sort of middle of nowhere, and we were one of a few handful of immigrant families there. And, you know, I grew up in sort of a loud, funny, fighting, loving Arab family, and I wanted to, you know, I used that to inspire a story about a really, you know, that is sort of an authentic portrait of an Arab family.
Okay. Part 2, we guess which one is Shireen in her film Amreeka. See you then.
He met her in the